Just now we have finished northwest corner method, which was not scientific method. But now we'll go to the second method, which is scientific method. What we call that as least cost method. So this is a scientific method and it will result in lesser cost in total cost of transportation. And we'll see for the same table, we'll try to find out the total cost of transportation. Then we'll know whether it is a scientific method or not. Because it is a scientific method, it should generally result in the least cost. So now we'll put the same table and solve the transportation cost for the same values. So we'll take the same table and see. So as the name itself indicates, the least cost method, what it means is it will take the least cost cells into consideration while making allocation. That is the reason we call this as least cost method. So the procedure or allocation for this is, first of all, we have to find out the least cost in the entire table, and after identifying the least cost in the entire table, then what we will do is we will allocate as many units as possible or as maximum units as possible into that cell, and then we'll move on to find out next least cost. So there also we'll make maximum. While making allocation, what we need to check is availability and the requirement. So when we are making allocation, we have to see how many units are available and how many units we require. So based on the situation, we are going to allocate as maximum units as possible. So now we'll see how we are going to make allocation. And when we are doing this, the other method what we see is that Vogel's approximation method. After this method, we are going to solve the same problem with that method also to know whether which one will give us the lowest cost. But most of the times we will find that least cost and Vogel's approximation method gives equal cost, but certain times there may be a variation. Anyhow, we'll see this using this method. Then the same table we are writing now. So for that we had a total cost of 1080. Now we'll see whether there is any variation if we use this least cost method. So here the same way we are writing, and the sole objective of transportation problem, as we have earlier discussed, it is about minimizing the total cost of transportation. So these three methods we will engage and we will see which one gives us the lowest cost in this context. So now we have this table ready with all the costs of each cell, and these are the supply units from factory 1, factory 2 factory 3, and similarly the demand or requirements are given at W1, W2, W3, W4. So now we'll check what is the first allocation, where we need to make the allocation. So we have to identify the lowest cost cell. Now just this is the table we are observing. Now we see this row, the lowest cost is 5, and in this 2 is the lowest cost. We see in this 7. So in the entire table if we see, 2 is the lowest cost. So here we have to make the allocation. Here availability from factory 2 corresponding to this cell is 80 units. The requirements here is 85 units. So we cannot allocate more than 80 units. So we will make all the 80 units allocation here. That means this is done. So there are no more units available from factory 2. That means once you have this supply is exhausted, you cannot make allocation, or we cannot make allocation in the row or any cells of that row. That means F2 W1 we cannot make allocation, F2 W2 we cannot make allocation, F2 W4 we cannot make allocation. Now this is done. Now we will see what is the lowest, next lowest cost. 2 it is over, now it is 5 lowest cost. So in this corresponding to this cell we have supply 50 units, corresponding to this cell the requirement of 40 units. So we can make an allocation of 40 units. So these 40 units are satisfied, we will strike it off. Here out of 50 units 40 are gone, are allocated, and 10 will remain. Now this is done. After this, because F2 is no longer available, we can only make allocations, and similarly W1 column is also not available because that is satisfied. We cannot make allocation to F2 W1, F3 W1. Now we will see that this F2 row is also not available. Among the other things, 8, 10, 13, 7, 8, 10. So 7 is the lowest one here among the available cells. So in this we need to make allocation. So the requirement here is 35 units for W2 and 60 units are available from factory 3. So we can make 35 units allocation. So out of 60, 35 units are gone. Now we have 25 units available. And these 35 units are satisfied. So that means from now onwards we cannot make allocation to W2 column also. And now the cells available are these cells, that is F1 W3 and F1 W4, again F3 W3 and F3 W4. In this the lowest cost is 8 rupees. So here we'll make allocation as maximum units as possible. Here in this column requirement was 85 units. We already made 80 units allocation. Actually we needed 5 units. So we can make only 5 units. We make 5 units allocation. Now this 5 is also satisfied. So among 25, 5 are allocated. Now we have 20 units available. Now this is also satisfied. W1 is satisfied, W2 is satisfied, W3 is satisfied. Now only W4 has to be satisfied. In this, we can make allocation in only two cells because W1, W2, W3 are exhausted. This is F1, W4, and here it is F3, W4. In this list is 20. In this list is 10. So we'll make allocation of 20 units because only 20 available in this cell. We'll strike it off. That means in this 10 more units are required and we have only one cell. Only there we can make allocation. There is no other group. Now this is also satisfied. Now the entire allocation is over. 40 plus 10, 50. This is satisfied. F2 row 80 allocated to F2 W3, 80 is satisfied. In F3 row F3 W2 35 plus F3 W3 5, 40 plus F3 W4 20, 60. So totally satisfied. Column wise, we require 40 at W1, that is satisfied, 35 at W2, that is satisfied, 85 at W3, that is satisfied, and at W4 30 required, that is satisfied. Now total units are allocated here. Now we will compute the total cost of allocation using the least cost method.